Bismillah. So what we're doing right now is we're going to discuss a little issue that cropped up concerning the police and Pfander Ministries, with special emphasis on Lizzie Schofield, a member of Pfander Ministries, J. Smith's group, that is. So on Friday, the 24th of March, I get a message from Lizzie via Facebook, and she states, Yahya Snow, do you have any comment on this video? She links to Saeed's video. We'll get on to Saeed's video and the contents of his video in a few moments' time. She goes on to say, this video that accuses me of being from a hate group while including a special effect of me being shot in the head. Now, I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. She goes further and states, I've reported this to the police and the Home Office. So initially, I'm a little bit confused. I'm thinking Home Office, that's like the department that deals with immigration. So I had to Google, and the Home Office also deals with counter-terrorism. So it makes sense. Initially, I thought that she was trying to get somebody deported. So my response, I'm in utter shock. I say, Lizzie, no, I don't agree with that. I absolutely deplore any intimidation and anything immature that will leave somebody intimidated, much less a mother and a wife like yourself, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I get time to watch the video. So I respond, whilst waiting for my colleagues to turn up, I have just skimmed the video, and I assume you were referencing the effects at the start of the video. I think you've misunderstood that effect. It is an imitation of what Kalam from Titans TV does at the beginning of his vids. Sonata TV also does the same. I'm confident that this had no ill intent behind it, but she's quite adamant. She's like, there's no ambiguity. It's clearly designed to simulate me being shot in the back of the head. So this is quite a serious allegation. Are you seriously telling me he intended something else, a firework? Come on. And I respond, Lizzie, come on. I can hand on heart say that this is not a situation. This is not a simulation of some violent act. The guy has just copied those effects. Let me get in touch with him. So I do get in touch with him. And Saeed, what's your initial reaction when I do alert you to this?
I was like in shock, you know. I was thinking, what is going on? Like I was in complete shock, and you know, I was like feeling emotional. I was thinking, like, really, Lizzie, like, is this how low you're gonna get? You're gonna try to, like, you know, I think she wanted to get me arrested, and as I said, you know, recently in Sikhi's Corner, we've been getting a lot of shahadas, and we've noticed the atmosphere from the Christians. It's been aggressive, hasn't it? Yeah. It's been really like, they've been really like aggressive, and they've switched their tactics and now using ISIS and those sort of terminologies and stereotypes. Yeah, they've been using, you know, it's like they're trying to bait us, and obviously, you know, like we know not to react, and I think it's like a whole range of things really, and what it was. That Sunday, that Brother Paul Williams, who pulled Lizzie and Jay up, what happened was she was like in shock. Like, she was like, I think it looked like to her she was going to cry. I'm telling you, yeah. It's like, you know, she was in shock. So I think they didn't. What was
Paul telling her? In the previous video, he was saying that if you can go over actually what he was talking about, what he was accusing Lizzie of.
Well, he was saying, like, go on, Ilyas, go on, you cover that bit. He was there as well.
Lizzie wrote a blog on her Pfander website about the hijab, and Paul was pointing out that some of the wording she used was quite hateful, and that it reminded him of the Second World War when the Nazis used similar tactics against the Jews. So she took offense to that.
What's her name?
Gobel used that. Yeah. But the thing is, I've never seen Lizzie so shell-shocked by this. I think she didn't expect to be called a Nazi or called an extremist.
Extremist group.
But what they didn't like is the fact that it actually stuck onto them. It's not something that was labeled without any background to it.
Yeah.
So that's what took them by surprise. And I think it was just a retaliation for that.
Yeah, and then they started They started trying to flip the same type of tactic on you guys in Speaker's Corner, right?
Yeah.
They started calling you guys ISIS now, trying to equate that us calling them Nazis is like them calling us ISIS.
Yeah, well, this was the next Sunday, the Sunday after they started calling us.
I think Brother Paul, putting a background to the claim that they were Nazis. For instance, we know they're not, obviously, but putting a background to it, the writings of Lizzie made this more, what's the word, more stickable.
Yeah.
More.
It's more applicable to what they're actually doing than, yeah.
Yeah, there's a background to this. You're writing about hijab.
Yeah, but
there's no reason.
Hold on, guys. Before we get into a general discussion on this, we want to focus on the sting in the tail, because it did transpire that Lizzie did not report anybody to the police, nor the police. Do you want to elaborate on that side, because you went to the police station?
Yeah. So the next day, I went to the police station, and obviously I had to wait about an hour. So I did. It did take a lot of my time, and it did cause me distress, because the previous night, I wanted to go at like what, it was like 12 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock, and I just I wanted to go to bed. I was in shock, and so anyway, so I was kind of thinking, what if they come to my door? What if, I was thinking all sorts. She caused me distress, Anyway,
yeah.
So the next day, I had some few things to do, so I was going to go first thing, but I didn't. Then around afternoon, I think it was, late afternoon, I went and waited about an hour, and then I went to the counter, explained the situation.
What time was this? In the afternoon, huh?
Yeah, it was late afternoon. It was
Okay.
I can't remember exact time, but it was late afternoon. Anyway,
Right.
I explained my situation and showed the video to the officer, and basically he laughed it off. He's saying, really, he goes, you know what, this is wasting police time. But then again, he did say, look, it is terrorism, so we do it's serious. We look into it, but he kind of laughed it off, and I said, look, she did say she made a report. So he said, okay, let me check the system. And they checked the system, him and his colleague, it was another female officer. They checked the system. There's nothing there, like in my name or anything like that. There's nothing there on the system that they could find. So they said, look, there's nothing there. So they did say, look, if they made it at the local station, maybe it might be it's not serious enough to hit a national database, or they did say could be in the station, but they're saying, look, it's highly unlikely, because if it's anything to do with terror, hate, it's straight away different departments apparently get linked up, and they start looking into it quick. They don't waste time. So
Yeah. Well, she might have went to the station and they reviewed it, and then they said, well, this isn't enough to be considered a threat or intimidation.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That's what the police officer said. That's what they said to me. They, you never know. She could have gone, but you got nothing to worry about. I've seen the video. There's nothing like that. And he said, then I showed, look, there's a comment I got from their side, and I showed it to them, and they said, look, that's got more weight to, more of a threat. With the comment that I received saying that, I'm going to paraphrase, we've seen you taking your mask off, we've seen your face, you're going to suffer the consequences, giving the impression that we're going to get you. And
who was this? Just anybody on the, or was it somebody known?
It's definitely someone that Lizzie and Jay, and it's one of the people who goes to Speaker's Corner, and it's someone that they know. Okay? Because what it is, I pulled up the following Sunday, the Sunday just gone. I pulled up what's his name? To the video today. What's his name? Patrick Hutton. So I pulled him up on it, and straight away he mentioned Steve's name, a guy called Steve Cleary or something, the guy who made the comment. And it's like they talked about it. And as soon as I mentioned it to him, Paul goes, what's it called? What's his name? Sorry again? Patrick. Yeah, sorry. Patrick goes, I heard about this. We spoke to Lizzie about it. and he said, look, you should speak to her. I can't really get into it. Things was, you know, he was like trying to back her up, and then again he was saying, look, I don't know, I don't know. That was because he knows. Because I said, look, that's out of order. You're trying to use like terrorism, like it was nothing. It was a special effect.
As a form of intimidation. That's what she was doing. She's using the terrorism laws and over-exaggerating her critics and trying to exploit it for her own means.
And not only that, after the attacks of Westminster, she's like, you know, using like a, you know, timing is bad on her side as well, trying to use it again, you know, for her own agenda. Like, you know, so it's sad, you know, people lost their lives. It's not a joke. They pulled it up. You don't use things like that for your own agenda to lie. You know, that's sad. It's very sad. Yeah. They did, you know. So
But Saeed, just going back to Patrick Hutton.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed on the video, the video in question that you uploaded. He commented maybe about 5 days ago on that video.
I think I didn't read.
Yeah, noticeably, his comment makes no mention of that special effect. He did. So he doesn't appear to think that that's an issue. Otherwise, he would have raised it. In my view.
Yes, he would have. Yes, you're right. He didn't actually. Yeah, I remember now. I even mentioned that to him on Sunday. I said to him, Patrick, you left a comment. You would have mentioned it. You would have just picked up on it straight away if it was so intense and so obvious. And he goes, look, you know, he's in the middle now. He knows that, look, he can't like exactly blatantly say, yeah, you know, you're right. So he said, look, all he said to me is speak to Lizzie, and you know, I can't, you know, I'm sorry, what happened, you know, misunderstanding. You know, he was trying to brush it off and all that. And
can we just focus on this firework effect? She initially thought it was a simulation of her being shot in the head. What I did do is I trolled through, because I know Titans TV used this effect.
Yeah, thanks for that. Videos. You know, I appreciate that, because like, you know, like you quickly clicked that bit came to your head, because I would have like, you know, wouldn't have thought of that straight away. So I really appreciate that, you know, using that as an example.
Oh no, that's fine, because I've seen Sonetta TV do it as well. That's one in America. But if you go on YouTube, if any listener goes on YouTube, if you type in Hamza versus Sarah is spelled S-A capital R-A, and then the title of the video is Allah, Racism and Ancestors, Speaker's Corner. This is on Titans TV. If you go to time frame 18 seconds, you'll see exactly the same effect that Said used, and the same for time frame 24 seconds. So that effect is something that everybody uses just to show heated arguments, etc.
Where'd you get the effect from, anyways? You downloaded it off of a effects website, or?
No, it's what was it? It's called. I think it was an app called Videorama. I think Videorama. What it was, my intention why I put that firework display up, because well, look, it was a heated discussion. It was like fireworks. It was an explosive situation. So I thought, nah, that was something else. That's something else. Yes, nah, that was something else. But anyway, my whole intention was like trying to show the audience, my audience, like it was an explosive situation, fireworks. It's fireworks. Heated discussion. That's all. Nothing else. And
is there a default? Okay, when you put in the effects, is there a default area where the fireworks explode, or did you move
the middle? The only thing is, I can't enlarge it. If I made it more big, it would have looked more. They would have had no leg to stand on. If I could like stretch it, but I can't. That's it. That's the only size I can do it, and it would look. If I took that effect and put it in the corner, it wouldn't look nice. It has to be in the middle of the screen. So that's the reason behind it, you know. So
she was in the middle talking then when the effect happened.
Yeah,
right?
when the fireworks thing went off, it kind of back of her head, but then she moves a bit. When the firework kind of ends, it's not exactly like she moves out of it, and it's like it's not exactly on her all the time. So it's you can't.
Yeah, but Saeed, I did actually screenshot the time frame 20 seconds. The inception point, you started your video effect when Lizzie was not in screen. She wasn't in the frame. So
There you go. Yeah.
it starts at 20 seconds, and it's on Paul Williams's hand and the cameraman in the background. And I've screenshot this in a blog article. It's all there. So anybody
I've seen that. I was driving, so I couldn't read it properly, but I've seen the screenshot.
Well, as somebody that works in effects, I know that the center, if you're going to do an effect, especially if it's a transition, you start at the center point. I mean, so if she was on the left side of the screen and the firework went and hit her on the head, that could show that it was a deliberate act, deliberate targeting, and then maybe some subliminal message or something. But I think it's very strange.
You know, look, if they had something, they would have used it. They would have milked it. Number one, YouTube would have shut the channel, maybe even shut my channel down. They would have shut the video down. They would have, they would have made a complaint. The police would have been at my door within like a day. You know, why hasn't the police been to my door yet? Or, you know, they could have been waiting for me Sunday. Sunday just gone. So not only that, look, just out of courtesy, what I did was I edited it via YouTube. YouTube editor, you know where it goes, where it says enhancements or something like that. So what I did was I edited, blurred that bit out, and what happened was it was processing, and it came to 26%. And then what happened was I thought, you know what, let me switch my MacBook off. So I switched my MacBook off, just switched it off, and then about half an hour later on my iPhone, I thought, let me check has the processing finished 100%. Then I've noticed about an hour and a half later, it's still stuck on 26%. Then the next day, on Sunday, I see it's still stuck on 26%. What I did was I contacted Google YouTube, and I told them the situation. And I said to them, look, I made some edits. It's stuck on 26%, and it's not loading. It's not like, you know, it's still, the old clip is still there. So today I've got an email from them. They sent an email to me saying, we're really sorry, there's a glitch in the system, and looking into it, our engineers are looking into it, we'll be in touch. So
editing on YouTube is horrible. I tried it a couple times, and it just takes forever. Even just putting effects over the videos and stuff, it's not. That's why it's not popular. But I'd like to make a point that's quite humorous when I think about it. Lizzie, she got mad about the previous day or the previous time with Paul comparing her to a Nazi. And then she uses police intimidation against you, making you think like maybe the Home Office or, you know, MI5 is going to come and kick down your door. She's almost using the same tactics that the Nazis used, you know, beforehand with the Jews, even with this situation, you know?
Yeah, that was the whole intention. It was just to give me grief, and get my channel down, because look, they're embarrassed with that, because they know they look bad, and we all really got to the
actual focus here is shifted. Rather than people focusing on what she wrote about the hijab, which is the actual trigger for this discussion, and showing that she actually was, she used some comments that are not tasteful. She shifted the attention now to the special effects on the video. So
so she wants to move to the role of the victim and somebody threatened. But we need to ask the question. Number one, has Jay Smith, out of anybody who always claims that he's going to be killed one day by Muslims, has anybody ever been harmed at Speaker's Corner? Any Christian have ever been harmed there?
Apart from today, apart from today's video on Patrick's channel, other than that, I can't remember. I haven't heard anything.
I think the main the discussion point should be the article written by Lizzie. She's diverting the attention from that article that Paul was trying to point out.
Yeah, and she didn't respond to the debate challenge as well regarding that.
It's a deflection from the article.
Yeah, because the question should arise. I mean, I think she does know. I think maybe she was prompted by Jay Smith to write that article, and then she realized what she was doing, because she's not debating Islam. What she did was she reacted to something Nike did. That was her article. And then she went on a tangent about what happens to women in Islamic countries. And so you have to ask, what was her purpose behind that article? All right?
Has anyone actually seen the video that they did? The Pfander cameras were there on that day when Paul confronted Lizzie. They were recording from the other side. And then what happened is after the Paul's confrontation, immediately after, they stood at a distance discussing that confrontation. And Jay was actually feeding her a lot of the lines. So you could be right that he's behind some of this ideas.
Yeah, but what Jay does is, with his followers, he ratchets up this paranoia. And I think we really shouldn't be focusing too much on Lizzie. The real focus should be on this Jay Smith character.
I agree with you. I said that all along.
As Abu Ayyub mentioned, the guy's on record saying he expects to be killed by Muslims. I've also got a video clip where he's pointing to Muslims and saying, you guys should kill me. You guys are meant to kill me, as well as other Christians. So this is the type of paranoia that he injects and instills into his followers. And this is why you get people like Lizzie Schofield taking a video effect out of context, thinking that it's a simulation of some guy, random guy wanting to kill her. But I want to focus on something else, Saeed. You were standing maybe a matter of 2 feet away from her whilst recording that footage. In that video clip, she's waving at Muslims who are a few feet away from her, and she's saying, I love you. I love you.
That's
right?
it, yeah.
And what I want to focus, firstly, I really didn't appreciate the way she said that. She was infantilizing Muslims, and this is in complete sync with the way Jay Smith operates. He speaks to Muslims like they're infants, like little children. So I don't like that. That's one of the reasons why I get involved in video editing, because I feel that they demean Muslims and they bully Muslims. So, I mean, myself, I don't go to Speaker's Corner. It's not really my scene. But what really got my goat is she claimed that she went to the police, etc. Why didn't she not wait, hang fire, yeah, pun intended, and wait for the following week, then confront you, speak to you in person and say, why didn't, what do you mean by that fire effect? And if she really loves you, if she really thinks you're her beloved, why didn't she not just do that?
And think about this. You were sitting there right in front of her, and she felt safe. If you were going to harm her, or was trying to because why did she go to the police? Because she felt threatened, or she claimed to be. Then, I mean, if you were going to do something to her, you had, you had the perfect time to do it then and there. I mean,
not only that, because out of respect and courtesy, what I did was I made the video private, and as I said, I edited it. I'm just waiting for YouTube to update the system, so that bit will like blur out of courtesy. And not only that, what was it? If she, say for example, like you guys are saying, she should have confronted me the following Sunday or the week after, and all she had to do is say, you know what, Saeed, I didn't like that. I would have said, okay, Lizzie, I'm taking the video down. Simple. I would have taken it off. All she had to do is just tell me, not happy with it, or explain yourself. I would explain myself, and if she still wasn't happy, I would have taken the video down. The reason I'm not taking it down now, I was just out of respect at my religion and everything. I thought, you know what, I'll blur it out. But I'm not going to take the video down now because the route they've taken. They should have they should have asked me. They should have spoke to me. They should speak to me.
It is clear.
Common courtesy. Common courtesy.
Yeah, common courtesy. Yeah. So after all this, I still kept the video private for from that night till I think I can't remember how long, but I kept then I put it on unlisted, and then I made it public again because when I went to the police station, when the police said, look, you've got nothing to worry about, and plus not only that, if I was up to no good and I got history, then no traffic wouldn't just walking past this time of the night. Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say was they.
If you had a history of doing anything bad or something.
If I was up to no good or anything of those lines, then I would have would have been worried. But I know I'm an open book. They want to watch me. They want to listen to me. I've got nothing to hide. I'm an open book.
Yep.
So I've got nothing to lose, nothing to hide. I'm not worried. So I don't know. I'm just really disappointed, and I have seen it with my own eyes now. The tactics that they use and they try to do, and now I'm really, really, really upset. And Lizzie goes to me Lizzie said to me that one of Sundays, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, she said, we want you to come to Christianity. We love you because we love you so much. We want you to come to Christianity. And I said to her, Lizzie, I think what you should do was try to be kind. You know, if you want us to join your Christianity, the way you guys, the approach that you have, like the venom, the anger, the hatred, and insulting our prophet, and I said that route you never will, make us go to Christianity or anything like that. Never. It's just never going to happen. So, and after this, what she did, you know what? I know it's not good to judge the whole of Christianity like that, but unfortunately, people do. Everyone does that for some. It's not right. But like I said, I will never, like Lizzie, if you're gonna hear this, what you did to me and tried to do to me, and you did, yeah, the grief, the tension you caused me, I will never ever even think about joining Christianity or anything like that. Never.
It's hate. They're using. It isn't theology, and this is the problem that we're constantly explaining to the Christian people that are debating us, and why there's a difference between Islamophobia and actually criticizing Islam. Islamophobia is you want intimidation, and you want to ban Islam, and you want to exploit whatever politics that are happening at that time to try to make Islam not be able to flourish within your Western society. And if you're using your apologetics to achieve that goal instead of just trying to debate us from a religious perspective, then you are taking part in Islamophobia, and you're using apologetics to achieve that ends. It's different.
Yeah, great point. Great point. I just want to, just to be fair to Lizzie, from my understanding that I've got from Saeed through personal conversations, I understand that she was she was more friendly and nicer before she joined Jay Smith's group. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. She was definitely like calmer, more nice, and recently I've seen a change in her, big change, like a complete U-turn,
she's basically an ambassador of the hate preaching now. So
yeah, she's like
she reflects.
She actually stands up on the stool now with Jay Smith, and the show they put on every Sunday. They tell the, I don't know why they preach to the Christians. They preach to the Christians. Part of it now, and her language, her labeling, it's just completely changed. It's gone to the extreme level. She's an extremist.
There are two types of Lizzie, and I've noticed. The Lizzie that's not preaching is really nice, very friendly, and really extremely nice, polite. The Lizzie that's preaching is full of hatred. Yeah. So when she's not preaching to you, she's the kindest person you can meet. The way she talks to you.
There's a word in it. Yeah. Hate preacher.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, female version. Yeah. When she preaches, she's full of hatred.
Well, that's our theory then. I think it is true. I think that Jay Smith, he's grooming these people, because when you see them at Speaker's Corner, usually whenever they come together as a group, they have a common theme every Sunday.
Yeah.
And Jay Smith's the one that's leading it. So this week we're going to talk about this, and then they go through, what are your arguments going to be, and then boom, boom, boom. It's step by step. They groom them and teach them how to debate. So
I don't get it, the tactics, because they say they want us to join Christianity, but the route I don't think there is.
The intention is to destroy Islam. That's the
they don't want us to join Christianity, because if they did, they would have with hikmah, go on. Brother Muhammad wants to give an input. Go on, what's to say? Go on.
So, bro, basically, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Sorry.
Yeah, so, basically last week, on Sunday that went by.
It's all linked, by the way.
What we were saying about earlier, and you've seen the video, inshallah. If you haven't yet, then you've got the link, inshallah. The guy that took it in his own hands to push Christopher off his seat. And as soon as I'd seen that, there was a few people around, they all looked very intimidated. I went up and, I've held this guy and I've pushed him away, and I've said, listen, you've got two choices. You either go and apologize to Christopher openly, or you leave the park. You bolt out of the park.
This is a Muslim guy. You're telling the Muslim guy, yeah?
This is what I'm telling the Muslim guy.
Muslim brother, yeah.
Now, as this is going on, there's a bunch of, young kids. I mean, Arab kids, obviously, they're going to say that these are Muslim kids.
Yeah.
And they've gone up and they've started to victimize Christopher. And, that's to say the least.
16-year-olds.
Yeah, little
Yeah,
kids.
16, 17-year-olds.
Hold on. Have you guys ever seen this guy there before?
Never seen him before. I mean, you know what, subhanallah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not, I don't want to, propagate here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually called to propagate the situation himself.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility that if they got a little kid to come out there to pretend to be Muslim and then start a fight or something. What happened to him?
Yeah, I won't put it past them. I won't put it past them.
No one's ever seen him. No one knows nothing about him, and he literally disappeared. And I'll tell you what happened. So after I spoke to him, and he said, "No, I'm not going to go and apologize." And he wanted to go back and fight, and I had to hold him with force. And so he bolted out of the park. Now, as he bolted out of the park, I saw my cameraman, Abdul Hamid, the brother that does all of the video work behind our channel. May Allah bless him. I seen him start running about, and he was pushing someone, and there was a bit of commotion now as well. You could hear a lot of people going, "Oh!" And I've run up to him, and I've seen him and a couple other brothers pushing another Muslim guy now out of the park. Now the other Muslim guy is now bolted out of the park. The second one, little did I know that he'd actually gone to Christopher, the same guy who moments before got pushed off his chair, and he'd given him a swing in his face. So he'd knuckled him. Now. That guy's gone now, subhanAllah. I've gone. Now, Christopher has now quickly gone to the police. He's spoken to the police. As this is going on, a big crowd is forming and waiting for Christopher to be arrested. Yeah, basically to come back from the police, which he did do. As soon as he came back from the police, a massive crowd formed around Christopher. Christopher was there with his stool, and he was with a couple of J. Smith students. Yeah, one being that African lady, I think her name's Sarah, isn't it? Sarah, yeah. And he started talking, saying, "Look, this is Islam, this is the Muslim." Again, he was saying it to everyone. And then these Muslim kids, again, they started surrounding him, or should I say Arab kids, they started surrounding him and really not giving him a good look for Islam here. I've gone in the middle of the crowd. There was literally the whole of Speaker's Corner around him. No one was doing anything to diffuse the situation, so I took it for myself, alhamdulillah. Anyway, I'd gone into it, and I said to everyone, "Look, do we not condemn this and the action that just happened?" And they've said yes. I said, "All right, do we just ascribe this as something that is promoted in our Quran or in the Seerah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?" They said, "No, of course not." And then I turned to Christopher, and I said to him, "Christopher, me and these people all here, on behalf of what just happened to you, we give you our apologies. Isn't that right, guys?" And everyone's like, "Yes." And then I turned to Christopher, I said, "Christopher, may I get on your pedestal and just continue to defend you and, condemn what just happened?" And he turned to me and he said, "No, you may not." And he walked off. And it was as if, subhanAllah, he really did not like the fact that I was there trying to be a backbone for him. As soon as I left that crowd, bro,
You got this all on tape, huh?
No, I don't know who got this on tape.
It will be. I'm sure it's going to come out.
There was not a lot of time, and I was afraid for Christopher at that moment, honest to God, because it looked like, at the very least, he was going to get some food chucks on his head or something.
Now, hold up. You guys have been to Speaker's Corner for years now, a lot of you guys. How many times has a physical altercation taken place there?
Once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon. Isn't it? And what happened just recently with this Christian convert that was arrested, or because he was threatening to cut somebody's head off or something like that? What took place there?
That was thing, innit? Christopher. Yeah, it's mine. That was
all right. So basically, this is Christopher himself, Kurdish. He turned to one of our guys, and he said to our guys,
speak up a bit, yeah.
He turned to one of our guys, Islamophobia TV, that's his channel, and he said to him, and this was just after he got pushed off the chair by someone else, he said, "I'm going to cut your head off." And he said it in Kurdish, because he knew that Ismail himself is Kurdish, and he assumed that no one else would understand, and it would stay between them, obviously. But, Ismail naturally is
Do they know who Christopher is?
Yeah. So Christopher, just to reiterate.
So wait a minute. We need to establish here that this guy, his character is that he's very controversial, and that he's
my God.
and he'll swear at you,
Everybody knows that.
he'll threaten you. So we've already established his character right now. So now he's trying to now be the victim.
Yeah, check this out, bro. Yeah, and this is where the situation you know, where I can paint a bit of a picture now. I can paint the brush over, you know, different aspects of the situation and different characters now. So basically, the people now, the Christians have seen, number one, that I'm nothing, I'm not hero, I'm not nothing. But all I'm saying, from the Christians' point of view, this is what they saw. Muhammad, me, myself, I've gone and I've pulled away the first guy and I've told him to get out of the park or apologize. They've seen that. Number two, they've seen me run up to the second guy to see what's going on, but he's run out of the park. Number three, they've seen me go up to Christopher and get the whole crowd's attention to, you know, speak for him and not against him and to condemn everything that just happened to him. And even I went to say that we condemn the Westminster attacks as well, and I advise people to stop using the Westminster attacks to propagate and, you know, use this against us. Yeah. Then, as soon as that happened, this Sarah, who's Jay Smith's student, started saying, oh, and she started shouting it out. Muhammad is the one who started this, and he is enjoying every second of it, and this is taqiyya. And then there's a group of Ethiopian gang, the trio. They saw this as well in me, and they started shouting, oh, it was Muhammad started this, and it was just like the guy from the Westminster attacks. What was his name? Khalid Mahmoud, whatever his name.
Khalid Mansour.
They're equating the fight or the possible fight that took place. Number one, they're trying to blame you for it, that you're starting it, or Muhammad.
Yeah, not only that now, bro. Now, you know the video that's just gone up?
Okay.
Yeah, this video that's just gone up. Now, they've been pushed. Christopher being pushed by who? By Muhammad. They put the name of Muhammad. Now, I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but, you know, I'm just saying, again, I wouldn't see past it being part of this whole propaganda and propagation here.
Because that guy's not called.
He's not. Well, no one knows who he is.
Yeah.
His name could be called Charlie for all we know.
Yes.
You know, but I'm just saying that this is how they work together in their devious ways, and they really are there, as Sayyid said, they are not there to preach Trinitarian belief. They are not there to preach Christianity. They are there to destroy Islam.
Yeah.
By any means necessary. Any means necessary.
This a few years ago.
Yeah. I mean,
so now they're using intimidation. Before they've been trying a couple of different tactics. Before they would try, you know, going and interrupting you guys and just barking, you know, or chirping for nonstop without answering questions. Now they're trying to move to another tactic then, of intimidation, it appears, and starting fights and getting Arab converts to speak in different languages and insulting people and threatening people to start fights. And then with Muslims that we don't even know and are not regulars, possibly Muslims, actually fighting there. And then we're
all I would say, it's very funny how. Oh, and then guess what happened after that, guys? Yeah. So forgive me. So as soon as this finished, there was one last little picture to the puzzle. So now an Asian-looking guy. Can you remember this guy?
Yeah, the blue jacket guy.
Remember this guy?
The blue jacket.
So this Asian guy. Everything now had started to calm down and disperse. Alhamdulillah.
Muslim
This
guy.
Asian guy stood in the middle of the speaker's corner, supposed Muslim. Allah knows best. He has a blue jacket on. The front of his jacket has the Great Britain flag, and the back of his jacket
Britannia.
is Britain.
Yeah.
Big white bold capital letters. This on his
I'll show
jacket.
you the videos.
Yeah, he's got videos up. And guys, when I tell you this guy, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Well, he wasn't actually a wolf in sheep's clothing. Well, he was saying he was a Muslim, and he was going around saying, you Sunnis are Wahhabis, and he started riling fights, and he was trying to rile up debate with Muslims who were trying to defend Islam because he was attacking Islam and the Muslims. And then you've got all of the Christian channels that come and started recording him, including Titan TV, who has a very biased, influential channel, and they deal with all sorts of kufr. But nevertheless, I'd seen this. Again, no one had attempted to stop him. What they tried to do is rally his comments, and isolate his comments and send them back towards him with some kind of sense. And this is where they thought hikmah was. So I've gone up to them and I've asked them to speak to him and advise him to stop. But they'd already been in such a heated way now that I'd literally thought, you know what, I'm going to have to talk to him myself. So again, I've gone up to the guy himself and I've said, listen, salam alaikum. I've said, what you're doing, there's no hikmah in this, all right? I've whispered to him, there's no hikmah in this. You're in a place that we call towards Tawheed. We're giving da'wah, and now you've got a lot of kuffar around you, and I'm whispering this to him, you've got a lot of kuffar around you, and they're listening to what's going on here, and it does not look good for us. and speak in public and speak in private about it. The guy responded to this out loud for everyone to hear and said, no, I'm not going to speak about this in private. I need to expose these Wahhabis. And then he turned to me and I said, what's a Wahhabi? And then he turned to me, he pointed at me and he said, you're a Wahhabi as well.
Wow.
And subhanallah, akhi, wallahi, I'm telling you, everything on Sunday, it was like a battle royale, man. You know,
I want to ask him.
WWF, NWO, like it was literally like it was a battle royale, and it was minds against minds, and subhanallah, there was so much dirty strategies being played there. Allah knows best what their intentions were and what happened behind the scenes. But subhanallah,
what can you guys? What will you guys have plan? You guys need a game plan now. For you.
What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in regard when they planned and plot to kill Isa?
Yeah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners, and we leave it to Allah. We go there and we call to Tawheed, and you know we always come
with hikmah.
We come with the general etiquette, you know. And these three individuals: number one, the guy that pushed Christopher; number two, the guy that punched Christopher; and then this third flonker who just got up with this Britain thing on, posing as a Muslim, saying what he was doing. This was all contrary to however we've ever conducted ourselves. Yeah. Oh, and then that was another thing, actually. So basically, this guy, I spoke to him because he was basically calling everyone Khawarij, including myself. And then he went on to say that anyone who is a Khawarij is kafir. And then I went up to him. We made the adhan for Salah Maghrib. And then I specifically, astaghfirullah al-azim, if, you know, maybe if a bit of pride got to me. But I wanted to put him in his place. So I voluntarily stepped up to take the Salah. Because I wanted to leave the Salah to make a point to him to see if he will pray behind me. Because obviously through his terminology, he's made takfir against me. And as soon as I finished the Salah, I wanted to go talk to him and say, well, listen, mate, you know, if you know so much about your deen and you're making takfir upon everyone here and whatever it is, now you've made takfir upon me through your chain of understanding. Now you prayed behind the kafir apparently, so therefore you're a kafir as well, aren't you? But as soon as the Salah finished, literally he bolted up. He bolted up and he he bolted up and he bolted away like
yeah. Anyway, you guys want to wrap this up? And what I was gonna say was now what we need to do is at Speaker's Corner now, we need to like be careful and not, you know, like they're gonna be trying all sorts of tactics, you know, like to trap us, bait us. We just have to be very careful, not bite. And you know the way our Prophet ﷺ taught us how to do it, you know, with the hikmah, treat them with love. What happened to the Prophet?
And I think you guys need to reiterate constantly that that you have no control over people. This is a public platform. You have no control over people that are visiting there, and there are going to be crazy people that are going to visit. But you guys have a couple of people that are very well known and that are usuals there at Speaker's Corner. And those are the only people that you're responsible for, you know. Everybody else, if they come and they say crazy things, you reserve the right to condemn it.
Yeah.
You reserve, you know, you cannot. It's not fair for them to automatically then place that upon you and say, "Oh, that was a Muslim," because it's going to happen, you know.
That's what they do. They do that anyway. Yeah, they do that anyway. Look at this Muslim. Look at that Muslim.
You know what, bro? I'm a white-looking guy. You know, I'm a white-looking guy. As I said, my mom's from Yorkshire. I'm planning to take to a Hadith school on Sunday and vocalize a little bit, as like you said, for people to understand and comprehend, and to diffuse a bit of that, you know, of that system of fear, that systematic fear now that is reminiscing amongst the citizens of UK. To be fair, you know, it's something that is definitely complemented by these these arrogant troublemakers in Speaker's Corner, and they are literally hitting the nail on the head. They are exploiting these Westminster attacks.
Yeah.
Really are. I'm thinking to just, you know, hit a few minutes there, inshallah, and hopefully get that a little bit recorded as well, so we can put it up. And inshallah, if we are challenged, by all means, bismillah. Because you know, I'm going to remind people: do not judge Islam by an ambassador or a weak ambassador or a Muslim. Judge Islam by the teachings, and I will bring some, inshallah. I will bring from the Quran.
The thing is, the advice I would give is record everything. We are being in a corner now. We're having to apologize for everything their moves.
Yeah.
They should be in that corner. I think what we're doing, we're being diverted by the big fish to go after the small ones, like Lizzie, Sarah, and all this. Whereas what actually we should go after the man who's actually directing the whole thing. And the word used is grooming, which is probably the correct word here. He's actually grooming all these students, minions, and they do the dirty job for him, and he's hiding behind them. We should actually go for that man.
I think the right word is radicalizing.
Yeah. Brother, just before we end this, have you seen, I think I put a picture up of Beth and Sarah, a video. I just put a thumbnail type of thing on the new group I made on Facebook. The title was, what was it? Terrorism expert. You know, Beth and Sarah. There's some Muslim terrorism experts. What sort of experts are they?
There's no Muslim on the platform.
Yeah, there's no Muslim on the platform. All they're doing is inciting hate. They are inciting hate. They are a hate group, like Brother Paul said. They incite hate towards Muslims. They add fuel to the Islamophobia part.
Let's not forget as well that they are
Guys, hold on.
Sorry?
I don't mean to cut across you guys, but they are experts. Let me just clarify something here. If they can be experts in a field that they have never studied, then I am the Pope. So I'm going to ask you, referring to me as guys, okay?
Anyway, you know what? Allah is the best planner. You know, Allah is the best planner, and hopefully the Christians will see. You know what? Actually, I don't know if you guys got something to add or want to ask me because it's getting late. The last thing I wanted to add to this was last Sunday when what happened was we were praying, I think Asr Salah, and a Danish sister, a non-Muslim, what happened was she was like walking up and down while we were praying. And I could obviously, side of my eye, see someone coming walking up and down.
We couldn't, we had for sure.
Anyway, and as soon as I did salam, obviously, like my eye she was like coming towards me, and my eyes went. I looked at her, and because I looked at her, she came straight to me, and she goes to me, "Excuse me, are you allowed to do this?" And I said, "Look, we are, but if it offends you, we won't do it here again. We're sorry." She goes, "Oh no. It's nice. It's good that you're doing that. I'm actually reading the Quran, and I'm halfway through it." And I'm close to taking my shahada. I said, "Oh, really? So that's good." And then we had a chat, and then she dropped like a bombshell. You know, she goes to me that, "Look, what happened was I used to come to the park and listen to Jay Smith, and all I hear is hate, and I had enough. And then I started to look into Islam, and then I had some Muslim friends ask the questions." And then she said, all he does is hate spreads, incites hate. And, look, like I said, Allah is the best planner. And look at her. She looked in the Quran, halfway through it, she's close to taking the Shahada. Inshallah, she'll soon. And we told her, look, come every Sunday we're here, just come and approach one of the brothers. And inshallah, if she does, I will say to Jay personally, Joseph Smith, thank you very much
for sending people to us.
Yes, sending another. Yes. So and she's from Denmark, and so make dua, guys, for her to take her shahada soon. Amen.
Inshallah.
Amen.